Hello. So, if you can't tell, I am on my bus. I thought I would make a video of myself in a wig, considering that I'm calling this thing Tranny in a Can. And I thought I haven't really presented in any of my videos recently, including the ones that I haven't uploaded yet. I haven't really presented as trans. I think maybe at the most I've worn makeup. So I thought, you know what? I'm calling this Tranny in a Can, and I haven't even done like a video like yet with a wig or anything. So of course, the thing is, for me, I don't wear wigs that often. I don't like wearing wigs. I don't like. I mean, it's to me. For me, it's about like putting a mop on my head and pretending that it's my hair. I realize that this looks better than a mop. I don't mean to say that it's ugly necessarily. I just mean that it's just walking around with something that's not my hair, kind of on my head. It's like, it's just an extra piece of clothing in a way where that I don't really need. It does make me look better though. I don't know if that made sense. I know what I meant to say, but there's two reasons why I don't like to wear wigs. Just the feeling of it. That's kind of what I was trying to get across. Is just the feeling of having this thing on my head. And then the other part is the fact that this thing is it's difficult to take care of. Like it might look decent from this angle, but if you were to see me kind of like maybe from all angles, you'd be like, you look like you need to throw that thing in the trash. So that's the other part, is just taking care of the wigs, keeping them looking nice and that kind of thing, which for me is like, I just take this off when I'm done, I throw it in a drawer. But I didn't really make this video to talk about wigs, but maybe I can talk a little bit about wigs and the fact that wigs help me go through the mental transition, you might say. That if for me, being trans wasn't like something that I always knew. It wasn't like I always knew that I was a girl, and it was like I was just waiting for the day when I could look like one. It was more like something's wrong with me. I'm unhappy and I don't know why, kind of thing. And so when I came to the idea that I was trans, it wasn't something that I was just like, all right, here it is, and now I'm ready to go. It was more like, oh my God, is this it? is this the direction I have to go? I was kind of excited by it. There was a part of me that just felt like this is unique. It's it made me feel special and that kind of thing. But there was a lot of difficulty just accepting it and that sort of thing, and just being able to actually see myself as a woman. Because I would, like if I were to just put on women's clothes and maybe eyeliner or something and then stand in front of the mirror without a wig, 5 years ago I didn't see a woman. So that being able to see a woman in the mirror is you might say, it's assisting in the mental shift. You know what I'm saying? Like if I just close my eyes, I don't necessarily see a woman when I close my eyes. Because I spent almost 40 years trying to kind of hone and perfect this image of a man that I thought I needed to be. Trying to basically, I don't want to say be the perfect man, because in some ways, especially not in the, you might say, in the traditional sense, like I wasn't trying to be a cowboy. I wasn't like trying to be CEO of a Fortune 500 company, or that kind of thing, like the traditional man things. I didn't strive to have a wife and kids. I was more interested in painting and making music and writing poetry and stuff like that. I would like to either write scripts for films or just make films. Those are sorts of things that I would like to do, which are not totally associated with like masculinity. Like I don't think people think of a real man as, say, like, maybe among those, maybe a movie director would be like the most masculine of all those. But yeah, but no, I basically, I was kind of like looking for this compromise. It's like I was looking for this image of man that I could respect, and that I felt like I could, kind of sustain. And I did meet men who kind of were that. I met a man in Atlanta who he had this kind of androgynous spirit, like he had a masculine appearance, like he had the beard, but he also had long hair. He kind of looked like a more mature version of Kurt Cobain. He was very kind of stern in the way that you might think a man would be, but he was also very, like, if I were to have brought him flowers as a gift, I think he would have appreciated it. He was just that kind of person. He actually came to me in a dream once. I was in my dad's house, and he walked upstairs to my bedroom and just sat down in front of me, and he looked at me, and he turned his face to one side, and he turned his face to the other side, and I could see that one side of his face was a woman's face and the other side of his face was a man's face, and I kind of felt like that is the kind of man that I would like to be. And for a while there, I felt like that's what I was, or that's what I am. And even sometimes still, a lot of times, like if I put on the wig and makeup, sometimes I'll peep a masculine feature in my face or something, and I'm like, that's kind of nice. I wasn't quite content with that image. I just wasn't. I felt like I was still rejecting in some way kind of this more feminine, the more feminine aspects of my identity. But the wig helps with that. The wig, like, I see myself the most feminine when I'm wearing the wig. So when I'm not wearing it, I feel like a freak, really. When I go out in public, most of the time I'm wearing a hat, and that's because I feel like a freak without anything on my head. But even with the hat on, I don't feel sexy or anything like that. I just feel like I'm hiding, basically. What did I make this video to talk about? Well, one of the things I wanted to talk about is the title, Tranny in a Can. So I've been kind of on the fence about this title. I realize that to some people this might be offensive, and just because of the fact that it has the word tranny in it, at least. But then tranny in a can, to some people might be like, what does that mean? Like, what are you saying? So I don't know. I'm thinking of it like putting an addendum to the title, like misfit in a bus, or I don't know, something just to make it clear what it is I'm talking about. But like, I can't even write the word tranny on Facebook. Facebook will, if I put tranny in a comment, Facebook will tell me to delete the comment, and they'll say it's because it violates their community policies. So I realize the word is offensive to somebody, and just for that reason, I'm kind of like, I don't know if I want to use it. But at the same time, I kind of feel like doing that to a word, giving it that status where you're like, I can't say that word, you're making it worse. Like, the best thing to do would just be to make tranny not a hate word. Instead of saying you can't say it because it is a hate word, just make it not a hate word by using it, you know, the same way black people use the N-word. See, like, I have to say the N-word, which is dumb. That is a retarded thing to do, because now you're making it, by having me calling it the N-word, you're essentially making it a hate word. You might say it was made a hate word already in the past, but you're perpetuating its existence or its effectiveness as a hate word by giving it that status as something that I can't say. If everybody could say it freely and people used it in a good way, then it would no longer be a hate word. You know, it's like, I know people who use the word Jew as an insult. Like, like, if you do something that's kind of shady or whatever, they'll say, you Jew. And you know, Jew is not a hate word. People might use it as a hate word, but that doesn't make it a hate word. And you know, if enough people don't use Jew as a hate word when they say Jew, then it doesn't go into that realm of being a hate word. So anyways, that's not what I wanted to talk about either. But Tranny in a Can, why did I even call it Tranny in a Can? What is the can? I was gonna call it Tranny in a Van, because I was sleeping in my van. I wasn't living in it. The van is right outside the bus here. I am on my bus, by the way, if I haven't said that already. So I was going to do a blog, because I started HRT around the same time that I started living in the van. I started HRT first, but I moved into the van shortly thereafter. And I kind of just felt like I want to journal this experience. I want to keep track of this. I want people to see it. I think because I watch both of those, like, separately on YouTube. So, like, I watch trans people transition on YouTube. And then I also watch people who live in their van or their bus or tiny homes or self-sufficient off-grid farms and things like that. I watch all those on YouTube, and so I felt like, with me kind of going through both of those kind of all at once, I just felt the need. I felt the need to record this, to journal it. Not just because of what's out there, but because my point is that I have a kind of an interest in it. I feel like this is the most interesting time in my life. I'll put it that way. If there was ever a time in my life that was most worthy of being journaled, it is this. So I think I wanted to talk about that because I'm going to start a blog also. I would have started it already, but I don't have internet out here in the bus. I do have my desktop computer in the back. Should I say that on the internet? Will I get robbed? I have my desktop in the back, but no internet. I could use my phone as a hotspot, but I'm already over on data. For writing blogs, anyways, not for uploading videos, but yeah. So I was thinking of starting a blog, calling it Tranny In A Can. Oh, yeah, I didn't get to the point of why I call it can. So because I started off in the van, I was going to call it Tranny in a Van, but then the back window of the van I busted out when I was driving in the woods drunk at night and was not able to see where I was going. I was going in reverse, trying to turn around in the middle of the woods in the van, and busted the window out, so I started sleeping in the bus. The bus had been in storage. I got it out of storage and I started sleeping in it. And I kind of did the very fast version of getting it to where I could live in it. I had other plans for what I was going to do to get it inhabitable, and I kind of skipped those. And I'm talking about getting the rust off the floor. The original floor of the bus was covered with rust. I mean, like every square inch of it was just rusted. It wasn't like wholly, it wasn't like, falling apart rusted. It was just going to have like that light coat of red dust all over it. Like you could see the metal kind of through the dust. So I was going to sand all that off. And then paint it with Rust-Oleum, and then put my floor down. But I just went ahead and put the floor down, which is a insulated pad underlayment, and then vinyl flooring on top of it. So I did that while I was staying in it. No, I didn't. I did that before I stayed in it. I did that, yeah. So I stayed in the van for a while until I got that done. But then I also had a shipping storage unit where I was keeping my excess stuff, and I was actually spending more time in the storage unit than I was in either the bus or the van. And but I didn't live in it. Like the people who owned it wouldn't let me sleep in it, so I would pretty much spend all day in the storage unit and then go sleep in the van. And so it was like, well, if I were to tell somebody, if somebody were to ask me, where are you living? It's like, well, I'm living in a storage unit, a van, and the bus. So the one thing that all three of these have in common is they're all metal buildings, basically. They're all, like the van and the bus are metal buildings on wheels, and the storage unit was a metal building. Actually, the first one was wood, but the second one was metal. But so I just thought, well, small metal buildings. I'll just call it can. Plus Tranny and Can, What is that? I guess is that technically alliteration, rhyming, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. People think of alliteration as the first sound in the word. Usually, not the second or the last part. So it'd be an and right? So, yeah, Tranny in a Can. Yeah, there's really no other meaning to it than that. Just I'm in a metal container. So, but in both cases, I don't know where this is going. I don't. So I'm going through, you might say, several transitions. One is that I just, around the same time that I started all of this, too, I also started the new job. at Home Depot, which I may stay there for a while. I may not. At this point, I kind of feel like my future is so open-ended. You know what? I made coffee, or I started making coffee, and I didn't finish. So I'm gonna take you back here into my bus with me. Right now, it is a mess back here, by the way. If you want to see the mess, I'm building a bed. I have a cot. This is back there. I don't know if you can see it. And I'm building basically a box to sit the cot on. And then I'm going to build a Murphy bed, possibly, maybe. See how it goes. That folds up long the opposite of the way a Murphy bed usually folds up. Usually Murphy beds fold up long ways, like they fold up. If this is the length of the bed, they fold up like that. But I'm going to fold it like that so that it goes like this, basically. That's what I'm thinking. That way I can get a twin size mattress in here at least. And you know, if I ever have somebody spend the night with me, I think a twin bed is, you know, it's not really big enough for two people, but it's big enough for two people, if that makes sense. You know what? I'm gonna go back here and grab my coffee again instead of waiting for it to, because I think it was just about done. My coffee thing is a kitchen sink strainer and a funnel that I cut the bottom off of. Both of these were, they were 97 cents each. So the strainer was 97 and the funnel was 97 cents. And that's how I make my coffee. I use the cone-shaped filters, and I just stick that down in there and put my coffee in and put it directly into the cup. Oh, so it's still hot. This was sitting back there for a while. It's still hot. Yeah, I mean, like with the hormones, the way hormones are changing me, hormones. So I'm taking estrogen, progesterone, spironolactone, which is not a hormone, that's a hormone blocker, right? And finasteride to try to help do something with my hair. Yeah. I don't know. So far, I have no, between the estrogen and finasteride, which are both known to help regrow hair, or supposed to help regrow hair, I haven't noticed anything. So it's been about 8 months. I don't like the idea of wearing a wig for the rest of my life. I think I'd rather just shave my head and be a bald tranny. A tranny with alopecia. Maybe I should call my blog Alopecia Tranny in a Can. No, I don't want to be. That's the thing, like with the other title, Misfit in a Bus. I don't want to be too deprecating. Is that the right word? Deprecating? Denigrating. I don't want to make this about, you know, what an oddball I am, or anything like that. I don't know. What I see right now, like I have this image in my head of like just like this gypsy life. When I used to watch movies, whenever there was like a gypsy in the movie, I was always kind of like, that seems kind of cool. Especially when they were fortune tellers. I've considered buying a crystal ball to carry around in the bus and, you know, charging people. That is a little bit shady, I think, to charge people to tell their fortune when you know, how do I know their fortune? I think sometimes I do see people's potential, if that makes sense, but I don't necessarily see their future, because I think when seeing someone's potential doesn't mean that they're going to live up to their potential. But yeah, I thought about buying a crystal ball and carrying it around on the bus and getting like a bunch of beaded necklaces and maybe some hoop earrings and maybe some really drastic eye makeup. I don't know. And those little headscarf things that they wear. I have a something here, but I don't even know how they wear those. Like I just put it on my head and it just looked like I had a, you know, a scarf on my head. It didn't look like a gypsy at all. Yeah, I just kind of see like this gypsy nomadic kind of life that for me is very romantic. Like I'll see my bus just kind of like parked up on top of a hill, like under the stars, you know, and I have all my stuff here. And you know, it just seemed like, you know, sometimes I'll see it in the mountains, kind of in between trees, like off the road, you know, and similar situation. Maybe the sun is up, maybe the stars are out, and maybe I'm sitting on top of the bus, maybe I'm sitting by a campfire down on the ground, and it just seems it has a very romantic kind of appeal to it. So, but I'm not there yet. I mean, like I am right now. I'll never be there. I don't know. But right now I'm busy working on the bus, and just kind of going into these dazes. Like sometimes I'll come up here to the front seat. I'm in the driver's seat right now, where I have my mirror sitting beside me because I was up here, you know, having me time in the mirror. I am in a parking lot, by the way. This is shopping center right over there. So I will drive over there in a little while, maybe, I don't know, an hour or so, once I finish this bed, and use their Wi-Fi and probably upload this video. Use their Wi-Fi. I'm going to use the Wi-Fi. I'm not going to say whose Wi-Fi I'm going to use because, well, I'm just not going to say it. But there is a store over here that has free Wi-Fi, and I'm going to use their Wi-Fi. If that doesn't give it away. But I'm not going to buy anything from them. I'm just going to sit in the parking lot at my computer. And so yeah, I have no idea where this is going. No, I don't mean the video too. The video, my life, the van, the bus, the hormones. Will I be married in a few years? Will I be married to a man? Will I be married to a woman? Will I be having sex with 50 different people a month? Will I be making porn videos? Oh, my back. Boob sweat. You see the boob sweat? This was something I never experienced as a guy. I never had to deal with that. Oh man, my neck is killing me. Someone told me that if you wake up with neck pain, it could mean, or it does mean, that you have something to express that you can't get out. So I'm scratching my nuts. Stress. When I get stressed out all the times, I get a really bad jock itch. Sometimes it's so bad I just want to like scratch holes in my body. Oh. Me. I was hoping to keep this under the limit. My phone has a limit. I think it's like 26 minutes and 46 seconds, and then it starts over a new video. Which means that if I want to upload this as all one piece, I have to put the videos together in a video editor, which is super annoying. I shouldn't say it's super annoying. It's super dumb. Like I should, you know. What is the purpose of that? Oh, maybe there's a good reason. I don't know. I can't imagine what it is. Maybe it's just, I don't know. Like, why would you cut off the video at 26 minutes and 46 seconds? Why not just let me record as long as I want to until I run out of memory? I mean, running out of memory makes sense. Stopping a video at 26, 46 seconds just doesn't make any sense. Maybe there's somebody out there who understands, who can explain to me why that happens. Yeah, so I wanted to talk about Tranny in a Can, and I wanted to actually make a video with me wearing a wig. And kind of just give you an idea of where I'm at, an overview, kind of synopsis. So I am in a parking lot. If you didn't notice, there's a tractor trailer over there. I think maybe you may have seen it. And there was one over here right beside me. There was two of them over here right beside me, and they have both left. And I have been in this parking lot for since Saturday. Today is Tuesday. I've been here since Saturday. And I may stay here another night. I may go try out Cracker Barrel's parking lot and see how that goes. Cracker Barrel is one of the most well-known places to park if you are in a RV or bus. For some reason, they don't want tractor trailers parking there, but they're okay with RVs and buses parking there. They actually have a sign up on their property that says RV bus parking, you know, this way. So yeah, I may go try that out, see how that goes. I was asked to move the bus off the Home Depot parking lot. I had it there for maybe 4 days, and one of the assistant managers called me into his office, and after telling me that I've been late more times than he likes, he asked me to get the bus off the premises. He didn't say that I couldn't have it there. He didn't really make it clear what it was he wanted, but I kind of knew. He didn't want me living in the parking lot, so yeah. Yeah. So I'm gonna work on the bus today. Let's see. And I have to get the brakes fixed. There's something wrong with the brakes where I step on the pedal and it goes almost all the way to the floor, and the bus will stop, but it's the sort of thing where I don't want to drive it. I tried to avoid driving it, which is one of the reasons why I stayed in the Home Depot parking lot so long. The other thing is that I have to use the van to jump start the bus every time I want to drive it. Something happened, or there's a problem that needs to be fixed. But the battery, I came out to the bus after work one day, the blinker was on, and the bus would not start. No, I take that back. The bus started. The blinker, I don't know how long it had been on. If it had been on the entire time that I was in work, I don't know. The bus started. I was driving it back to Salisbury, where I had it in storage, and going up a hill, it just shut off. The bus just shut off, and I tried to start it a few times, and it would run and then shut off again. And I didn't I didn't know what was going on, but after a while, what happened was, so many times from trying to start it, I killed the battery. And the battery wouldn't even start after that. It would just click. And so I had to... The only things I knew to do were, one, put some fuel in it, and then try to jump start the battery, and then prime the engine, because it's a diesel engine. So I did that, and I got it running again. There was a nice guy from the Ford dealership up the street. I went into their garage and asked for help, and he bought out 2 of these handheld jump starter boxes, and he came out onto the side of the road. I was on the side of kind of a major road, and cars were coming up and down the road, and both of us were kind of out in the street almost, trying to get this, because the batteries are on the side of the bus. And it happened to be the side that was facing the road, and but we got it started. But ever since, like, I have to jump start it to start it. So I don't know what that had to do with the battery. Apparently, the fuel tank, when I went up the hill, the fuel had gone to the back of the fuel tank, and it had sucked air into the fuel system. That's just a theory. I don't know what happened, but ever since then, I need to jump start the bus to start it, and then it runs fine. But so I don't want to go out to the hilltop if the hilltop is 20 miles away. I don't want to go out into the woods and the mountains if the mountains are 30 miles away. For one, because I don't have my van there, and 2, I don't know if the brakes will, if they'll last that far. Eventually, I will be able to tow the van. I think that's what I may do. Instead of getting rid of the van, I've considered getting rid of it, but I think I may just get one of those car dolly things and just tow it around with me whenever I go long distances. I mean, like if I'm going to a new city kind of thing, like to stay for a while. If I were just going out to the lake and then coming back, I wouldn't take the van with me. But yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at the moment, is trying to kind of get this taken care of. Trying to get this to where I can live in it. I'm already living in it, you might say. But it is a disaster in here. There's sawdust all over the place. From working on this bed. These shelves are not, like, I need to do something with these shelves and kind of get things into where, like, a place where I don't have so much space being unnecessarily occupied, if that makes sense. And to do something with the other shelf. Because what I had was a muscle rack from Home Depot and a 8-foot table that I bought, I believe, from Walmart. And I cut the table so that to make a countertop, which sits on top of the Can you see that? So this is the 8-foot table that I bought, I believe, at Walmart. It might have been at Lowe's or Home Depot or a place like that. I'm not sure. I do shop at different places. I do work for Home Depot, but they're not sponsoring this or anything like that. So, but I don't mind giving them free advertisement. But then this is the muscle rack I bought at Home Depot, and this has a lip on it. So right now this is not even secured. Like, it's not bolted down, but it's because of that lip. Like, it's not coming off, you know. But then over here on this one, I have no top for it. So either I need to go buy another table, or I need to do something with that. That is kind of dangerous. With this thing right here sticking up like that. If I were to fall over, I would be impaled quite easily. So, because it's not a dull piece of metal. Yeah, so that's what I'm working on. Like I said, I have stuff just like these shelves here. These were Walmart things that I bought that I was using when I stayed in the shop, in my dad's shop. So I don't like that. I need to build my own shelving system, or I need to get this in a way where I like it. I just don't like the way that looks. I don't like it kind of taking up that space. So yeah. So this is kind of where I'm at the moment. I am trying to get all this stuff taken care of. And did you hear that? This is the insulation that I use for the windows. I've bought way too much. I bought way too much. So that's sitting there right now, also taking up space because I still need more of it. For one, I have to replace some of the ones that I put in the window because I've damaged them just from working and things falling and that kind of thing. Though at some point I may just take all those out and do something else. The insulation works fine, but I meant for these to be like curtains, and that insulation doesn't really work well for curtains because it doesn't roll up very well. I want something that I can roll up or slide up or fold up or something like that. So these could fold up, but that's not really what I wanted. So I don't know if you needed to know all that, but the point that I was trying to get across is that I will be here at least, I'll be here a while. I may be here in the same spot for maybe 6 months, maybe 2 or 3 months. So I'm also constantly thinking about like my career future, which I said that was part of the transition too, was the job thing. I've never had a job more than 4 years, and not coincidentally, I've never had a job that I liked. I've never had a job that I wanted to stay at more than 4 years. I've had jobs that I like parts of the job, you might say, or like I like the people there, that kind of thing. Like I worked at a yogurt store, and the owner's mother was the manager, and this woman was like she and I got along great. I would go to work and she and I would just talk about stuff, like all day long, and it was the sort of thing where that was like in 2011. It's 2022 now. I still think about going back to visit her. So things like that. Like I've had jobs like that where maybe I like the people, or maybe I like the just the environment. But like with that job, I was making $200 a week, maybe, which was not enough to pay rent at that time. So I had a roommate when he moved out. I had to move out too. So yeah, that's one of the reasons for the change in jobs too. Is just the money, but just the job itself at that yogurt place, I didn't care for. Basically, it was just I liked the woman. I like that relationship, but I don't need the job for that relationship. You might say I might lose it if I were to leave that job. I don't know if she would ever call me or anything like that. I don't know if she has my number, but yeah. So what I'm thinking right now is computer programming and IT. Because for one, I would like to at least kind of start venturing towards remote work. Even if I have to do IT or computer programming, at an office somewhere, I would be willing to do that. But I would like to at least learn the skills that so that I can get to the point where I can just work directly from the bus. And some of that I can do already. So here, once I get most of this stuff done, I will go ahead and start offering my services doing 3D design for like say for my dad has a pool installation company, so if customers want a 3D design of their pool project, with their house, their future pool, their future deck, that sort of thing, I can do a 3D model of that and make even a 3D video or 3D animation of it, you might say, like a walkthrough. So but I want to get all this taken care of first. I already have a job, so I don't need the money. I would rather focus on getting this done. But that's the sort of thing I want to get into. So doing that, I may start using websites like Upwork and Fiverr. I really don't like that for some reason. I don't know what it is about that I don't like. For remote work, that may be something that I have to look at, or it would be better for me to look at. So I had a CompTIA A+. CompTIA is CompTIA. That's an acronym. I forget what it stands for, but it's a vendor neutral certification, IT certification. Basically, it says it's the equivalent of 1 year experience working on computers. That's what it's supposed to be, but it basically says to an employer that kind of the basics of computer technology. You know what a motherboard is, you know what RAM is, you know what a serial bus port is, which I don't remember what that is exactly, but you know the difference between random access memory and what is the other one? Static. What is it? Static memory. So that kind of thing. So I had that certification, and it expired 3 years later. And I was talking to a school called mycomputercareer.com, which is a certification school. If you go through their program, you get like 6 certifications, and CompTIA A+ is one of them. Also, CompTIA does a Network Plus, and but the school offers in addition to those, they offer other, you might say, vendor-specific courses such as the Microsoft certifications and things like that. And their course costs $18,000. With financial aid, I would end up paying about $9,000. But I don't really want to pay $9,000. What I'm thinking right now is just renewing my A+ certification, and then looking for jobs. I did not realize how many people were looking for that A+ certification, because I don't know, when I got the certification, I went looking for jobs that were asking for it. But the way that I looked for it apparently was not the right way, because I think I just looked for IT jobs. Like, I was in Atlanta, and I think I just did a search for IT jobs, and they all were like bachelor's in computer science, 3 years experience, and all this stuff. And I thought none of them were asking for CompTIA A+ certification. But then I was watching a video yesterday, and the guy said, well, if you just Google jobs looking for CompTIA A+, and I was like, oh my god. And then of course, he got thousands of results, and so that's my plan at the moment, is to renew that. Go ahead and start looking for like help desk work, or something similar to that, help desk or software tester, things like that, the entry-level jobs. And but I'm also learning JavaScript, and then at some point, I don't know if there's such a thing as being done learning JavaScript, but at some point when I feel like I'm done, or when I'm to a point where I can move to something else, I'll move to Python. And so, because I'm not necessarily in love with IT. I think I would rather do like the programming kind of thing. But I am interested in both. But I I'm just a kind of a curious person. I like to have my hands in all things. So that is the direction that I'm going with that. If in 5 years I'm making like $100,000 a year, I will probably not be the same person by then, because the hormones, having lived in a bus for 5 years and then having totally changed my financial and job situation. If I get into like a computer programming job and I like the job and I'm getting paid well and I'm working with interesting people, my life would be totally turned around. So I think I'll stop there, because that is what this is about. This is about turning my life around. I was headed for the grave. So I was already in the hole. I was down in the hole, and I was just about to lay down and die. But I am turning my life around. So cheers.